Hi, this is Amy. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. This video records the Amalekite destruction and its result as indicated in the Bible. In the annals of biblical history, few conflicts carry as much symbolic weight as Israel's battle against the Amalekites. This ancient confrontation, recorded in Exodus 17 verses 8 to 16, represents more than just a military engagement. It embodies the perpetual struggle between divine purpose and human opposition. The incomplete destruction of Amalek would echo through centuries of Israelite history, culminating in the dramatic events of the Book of Esther. The Israelites, freshly delivered from Egyptian bondage and wandering through the wilderness, found themselves at Rephidim when the Amalekites launched their unprovoked attack. This wasn't merely a territorial dispute. The Amalekites targeted the vulnerable stragglers at Israel's rear, the elderly, the weak, and those struggling to keep pace. Deuteronomy 25 verses 17 to 19. This cowardly tactic revealed the true nature of their opposition to God's chosen people. The battle itself unfolded with supernatural drama. As Joshua led the Israelite forces in the valley below, Moses stood atop the hill with Aaron and Hur. The outcome of the battle mysteriously correlated with Moses' physical posture. When his hands were raised in prayer and dependence on God, Israel prevailed. When his arms grew weary and dropped, Amalek gained the advantage. This visual demonstration established a profound principle: Israel's strength lay not in military might but in divine dependence. Aaron and Hur's support of Moses' arms until sunset secured Israel's victory, but God's response extended beyond the immediate battle. He instructed Moses to write this on a scroll as something to be remembered and declared, "I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven." Moses then built an altar and named it "The Lord is my banner," Jehovah Nissi, establishing a memorial to God's deliverance and a perpetual reminder of his promise to eradicate Amalek. God's declaration against Amalek wasn't merely a prediction but a command. In Deuteronomy 25 verse 19, Moses instructed the Israelites, "When the Lord your God gives you rest from all your enemies around you, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven." Do not forget. This wasn't ethnic cleansing but divine judgment against a people who had not feared God and had sought to destroy his chosen nation. The command for complete destruction represented God's protection of his redemptive plan. Amalek's opposition to Israel wasn't merely political but spiritual, an assault on God's purpose to bring blessing to all nations through Abraham's descendants. Their destruction was necessary to preserve the lineage through which the Messiah would eventually come. What happened as a result of this partial obedience to God's command, and how did it sow the seeds of future conflict? Despite this clear command, Israel's history with Amalek reveals a pattern of incomplete obedience. King Saul commanded to attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. "Do not spare them, but put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys." 1 Samuel 15 verse 3, instead spared King Agag and the best of the livestock. Samuel's response was unequivocal: "Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." This partial obedience had devastating consequences. The Amalekites who survived continued to harass Israel throughout their history. David fought them at Ziklag, 1 Samuel 30, and they remained a persistent threat during the period of the Judges. Most significantly, the lineage of Agag apparently survived, leading to the events centuries later in Persia. The Book of Esther, though never explicitly mentioning God, reveals his providential hand in preserving his people. The villain of this narrative is Haman, identified as the Agagite, Esther 3 verses 1 and 6, likely a descendant of King Agag whom Saul spared. Haman's plot to exterminate all Jews throughout the Persian Empire represents the ultimate manifestation of Amalek's ancient animosity toward God's people. The irony is striking: the very people God commanded to destroy now hold power over his chosen nation. Haman's elevation to a position of authority and his genocidal plot represent the consequences of Israel's failure to completely obey God's command centuries earlier. The partial destruction of Amalek had allowed their oppositional spirit to survive and manifest in new forms. The narrative of Esther demonstrates God's faithfulness despite human failure. Through Esther's courage and Mordecai's wisdom, the plot was reversed, and the Jews gained power over their enemies, Esther 9 verse 1. The Feast of Purim celebrates this deliverance, but it also serves as a reminder of what could have been avoided had Israel completely obeyed God's original command. The principle extends beyond this specific historical conflict. When God commands complete destruction of something that opposes his purposes, partial obedience leaves room for future opposition. The Amalekites represent those persistent spiritual forces that repeatedly resurface when not completely dealt with according to divine instruction. For readers today, the story of Amalek serves as both warning and encouragement. It warns against the temptation of partial obedience, thinking we can selectively follow God's commands without consequences. It encourages us that God's purposes ultimately prevail despite human failure. The New Testament echoes this theme in its call for complete spiritual victory. Paul writes about taking every thought captive to obey Christ, 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5, and putting to death what is earthly in you, Colossians 3 verse 5. The principle remains: incomplete spiritual victory leaves room for future opposition. The Amalek narrative, from Exodus to Esther, traces a consistent pattern. God commands complete destruction of opposition to his purposes. Human obedience is often partial, consequences follow, but God's redemptive purposes ultimately prevail. The destruction of Amalek, though incomplete in human execution, serves as a powerful illustration of God's faithfulness to his promises and his commitment to preserving his people for his purposes. To watch more videos like this one, you can go to our website at nehemiahreset.org, to our rumble.com or youtube.com channels. We publish new videos weekly. You can also sign up to receive our weekly new video list by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and sign up for our weekly newsletter. To help our channel, please like and subscribe so that more people can see these important videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Are you looking for a limitless supply of insightful reads to expand your mind and transform your life? Look no further than Nehemiah Reset's ebook library, where knowledge meets inspiration at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Go there today to discover a wealth of valuable resources to help you on your personal and professional journey to build a biblical worldview. Learn more about the Bible and how culture is impacting your worldview. Again, the ebook library is located at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Hope to see you soon. My name is Andrew. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them in action to vote for their biblical values and actively engage in our We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.